All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, Bitcoin breaking out after the Treasury decides to put a little bit of a cap on the 30-year yields. We'll see how the markets take this, but obviously, Bitcoin loved that news as you broke out yesterday, and currently today, seeing upside continuation. You've pretty much annihilated all the short side sellers. Liquidations are up huge. The reality of the situation is this is probably going to pull back somewhat, and finding the level at which that will be is what's going to be the most difficult aspect for any longs that are not involved. For anybody that wants to participate in any Bitcoin rallies, it's going to be a difficult road to hold to try to get positioned. We dropped a video Saturday telling people to get positioned for the big move. Volatility was on the lows. Anytime volatility signals like that, you got a position for it. So today we're going to be closing some trades. We're going to be opening some trades. We're just going to be doing a lot of trades. I don't really know what all we're going to be doing over here on Bitcoin. Essentially, yesterday we annihilated the market yesterday. We did really good. We closed long positions on silver. Tuesday's live stream, I dropped this buy in on silver here while we were live, as this candle was being printed. Let me pull this out for you a little bit wider here. As this candle was being printed, I dropped a limit buy order at last week's low. And then that night, we got that move lower, filled us on the long, and we got the move higher. So we dropped off some size on that, taking profits. We also took profits on the Ethereum long, as this just looks stupid now. I mean, damn, what a move on Ethereum. It's up there. It looks really good. We've been holding this long since that 4-hour candle right there. So essentially, when that 4-hour candle traded down into support, we got long. We've just been sitting in that trade since, I think it was a week before last. And then obviously yesterday we closed, took some profits, but left it open because I figured we would probably see a little bit more upside continuation, as all of the sellers who were extremely bearish were, shorting the high of day yesterday all day long. And that would just essentially help price move up for the rest of the day. I was actually really surprised to wake up this morning and see it continuing to move up. Naturally, you're massively overbought here on the 4-hour time frame. You're printing a 93.55. That is overbought. So I definitely would not be putting on longs up there. The longs should have already been on. You should have been scaling out as price was ripping, as that's typically the way we want to do it. And then Bitcoin also taking profits yesterday on that as well. So, I mean, we did really good. The crypto market has been extremely slow for several weeks. So yesterday was a real good day. I'm glad to see it finally show up. We also have trades that we're going to have to pull off over here, because we also we put on a long spread on iBit. That's in the money now. And funnily enough, this was setting at max loss on Tuesday. And I literally said there's no reason to do anything with it, because I've lost every dime that I can potentially lose on this, since there's still, like, I don't know, 20 something days till expiration. I'm just going to leave it open, and maybe we get a spike and I can close it for a smaller loss. But nope, we got a spike, and now this thing is completely in the money. So went from total loss to 100% profit. Not bad. And we also have, we got GLD, GDX. We closed out silver yesterday. We have an MSTR trade here. We paid $300 to put this trade on. That means we bought the call for like $1.50, bought the put for like $1.50, just looking for the volatility spike. Obviously, we don't know which direction volatility is going to spike, but when volatility is on the low like that, that's the time to be buying premium. MicroStrategy has not yet quite got up there, as our long call strike is setting at 125. Our long put strike is at 75. So we're not in the money yet, but because there's still plenty of time on this option, there's intrinsic value with it. And that intrinsic value is naturally going to go up. I wouldn't doubt it at all if we could close this trade today for a 100% win as well. Meaning, we paid three for it, we can get 3 out of it. If we go look at where the MSTR is, the price currently pre-market is at 114. It was up to 115. So that means this in the money line at the open will come up here to about, in the middle of the 110, 115 strike. And you can see in the monies yesterday at the close, we're going for $11. So there's a really good chance that we're going to be able to close this out for $300 today if we want to. So complete awesome move on Bitcoin. I'm really glad that it happened this week, especially since we just posted the big move coming video on Saturday. So people had plenty of time to put these positions on because today's Thursday and the move didn't happen until yesterday. This is going to be a dollar story. I was completely wrong on my dollar analysis. Obviously, I've been more long biased on the dollar based on the current macro structure and how the interest rates are across all the central banks around the world. It's just very expensive to put on dollar short trades, and I kind of thought that big money would keep a bid under this because of that. And then yesterday, obviously, they dropped that news. If they're going to cap yields, that means risk in the market has to come from somewhere else. It's going to be the dollar. So as of right now, this seems like it could be a fade all dollar rallies type of scenario. This breakout from Q4 2025's high right here is an obvious failed breakout. I mean, you spent many weeks up there not able to go anywhere. Then you broke back into the range and then set 2 weeks of support here at a trend line. It's the year of 2026, so it's only 2026 trend. It's not the long-term trend line going back to 2011. That is probably being tested here today. We'll look at it and see. But yeah, I mean, as of this point, things have changed, right? We don't typically want to get super bearish on an asset when you lose the 21-week exponential on the first week. But this is week number 4. And you're getting downside continuation. So at this point, any pullbacks to 99.65, that's even if you get a pullback that deep, would be looked at by me as a selling opportunity. Since it is still very expensive to sell the dollar specifically, we might be able to look for somewhere else to put on short dollar exposure, like right here. Aussie dollar. Now, if gold continues the rally, then that should help Australian dollar stay a little bit strong. And if the dollar is weak, then maybe Aussie dollar is a place to look for that exposure. So we did get a pullback into daily demand here, and the 4-hour 21, that's probably where you should have put on that. I don't really love it just yet because I'm kind of afraid that this is going to be faded. All of this, like all of it. But the dollar probably won't be. Only time will tell. So I was on the wrong side of the dollar. All of my dollar longs have been stopped out. I am no longer in USD Swissy to the upside. No longer in Euro dollar to the upside. Euro pound, that short was also stopped out. So yeah, we got stopped out of all of those positions in profits. And because we were on the right side of the carry trade as well, we were also making daily rollover fees. So the P&L is up nicely on that small account, but now we're ready to go. We've got a nice chunk of change to go ahead and start putting on some more risk. Unfortunately, I have to wait until I get a decent setup over in FX land. And I'm not really seeing anything that I love today when it comes to FX. Pound dollar is another thing to look at to potentially put on dollar short exposure. But here you are today liquidating a multi-month swing high. It's going back all the way to May. So you could see this area act as a little bit of resistance. But we've been talking about, putting on long dollar pound trades for a couple weeks now. Yeah, it's moving to the upside nicely. I am not in it. So, and I definitely ain't looking to buy it up here. I need a pullback, probably be next week or the week after, before we can get, longer term positions going again in the Forex market. But yeah, Bitcoin looking really good here. Ethereum is at a very precarious area. Back in April, you spent the entire month consolidating, which ended up not being consolidation. It ended up being distribution because that's where the market dumped from. Well, as you can see here, there is a ton of volume up there to chew through. So, I mean, getting this breakout that looks absolutely stupid, getting the breakout's one thing, blasting through that is another. So, I mean, I wouldn't be looking for shorts because you're in a short squeeze and those things can last for a while. But I mean, if you're interested in a play like that, if you're interested in fading this rally, 23.23 is where that POC is setting. And as you can see today, your high of day is just shy of that level. So if you were to liquidate today's high and reject, then maybe you could make the argument of putting on a short side scalp. I'm not going to be doing that with you. If you're doing that, you're on your own. Obviously, this is destroying sellers. I don't want to be a part of that. But hopefully some of you were on the right side of that and caught this. We've been in the ETH trade for a minute, so you could have gotten positioned in the ETH long many times over. Many times over. This thing built in support. I mean, you can't make it any cleaner. It was super clean support. On the 4-hour time frame, that 200 exponential moving average was just literally showing you price's inability to put in lower lows once it traded into that area. That's essentially why we were long. When a market builds in support, we want to be buying that, especially, after a 7-month sell-off. We've been in a 7-month range. When you're in a range like that, typically you're looking for time capitulation if you've already gotten price capitulation. And there were 2 times in all of this down here where you did get price capitulation. Once back in February when you cemented the yearly low, and then again when you made a fresh yearly low in June. So both of those would be considered capitulation events. Why? The simple reason is because you couldn't put in downside continuation. It really is that simple. When you breach a low like this, when a market is weak, it will keep going, right? It doesn't slow down or stop just because it took that low out. Generally speaking, if a market is going to continue, then you're going to blast through that level and you're just going to keep dropping every single day or every other day, right? But we just couldn't. It just couldn't. Like price tried here 2 days in a row, couldn't do anything. Then you got an aggressive bounce. That's also a pretty good sign of sell side capitulation. It just means that everybody who wants to sell pretty much has already sold. There just isn't any supply under that level. And since there is no supply under that level, then you start to watch for higher low support build. Now, we did spend a week grinding pretty much on those lows, but once again, you left the area with haste, right? And then just built in higher low range. It's classic grind, slow, annoying, boring price action that just drives everybody crazy, right? And because you don't get a big bullish pop, it makes everybody bored. And that's when the market catches people off sides and you get these kind of moves. The major price level to watch for resistance is going to be strategies cost basis. I don't really think that they're in trouble anymore. I mean, if they were in trouble, obviously when Bitcoin was trading consistently under 66K, you would have seen that trouble unwind. And it never did. Since it didn't, I mean, you have to assume that it's getting absorbed, right? You can pull up filings from the SEC and see who's buying what. We knew that Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, major banks were buying Bitcoin. I've been telling everybody that for the last 3-4 months. Retail has sold and price isn't going lower. And then when you start getting bad news, which we did, let's be clear, you had BIP 110 that failed. That's bad news for BIP 110 proponents. You also saw Michael Saylor sell the largest amount of Bitcoin that he had ever sold before. So the market flipped out when Michael Saylor sold 3 Bitcoin. Literally 3 Bitcoin. You get this dump, right? Bleh. 3 Bitcoin. Then he sells 1,000 Bitcoin in this area. And then over here, as BIP 110 is unfolding, he dropped 7,000. So literally he proved to everybody that it's not going down. It's done going down, and I'll prove it. I'll drop 7,000 Bitcoin. That'll make bad news. We're already in a bear market, pretty much at the lows. So it should puke. It should go lower, and it didn't. So that's a pretty good signal when the market's getting bad news but not going lower, that it's being absorbed. Demand is being absorbed. And here we are today. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. Classic. We love it. We love to see it. We absolutely wanted to get tied in with a vol spike, and that's how we played it. And that's, yeah, things are good. It's been a good week. Also watching SpaceX here. I'm in another trade on SpaceX. We'll probably put another trade on SpaceX today. Where are you at? There you are. Let's pull this one up here real quick, as this is getting ready to expire worthless today or tomorrow. Gotten over 75% of the premium out of it, so I'll probably close it and then look to put on another pretty much same spread, right? I'm just looking for this range to stay put for a little while the market takes in this new information with the treasury. We have a major support that's trying to build in right now at about 130, and then clear resistance is 150, which is the IPO price. That resistance held pretty good here, 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 and here, and then finally you lost it through this 4-day stretch. So naturally, when we traded back up to it, we were looking for it to bounce off of that level, bing, 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 like this. So we sell that, we sell this. Basically, that's it. We're just looking for time decay, as that's what selling premium does. I like that it's still holding 135, but because the market is getting beat up this morning, you're under yesterday's low. So oil is spiking here, and I think this is what's, well, people are fading that yield news first, but oil is spiking here this morning. If we look at this on a daily, you are trading into a trend line. I don't put much weight on trend lines, but they do occasionally work. So if oil fails to trend above 87.75, I probably would be willing to put on like a call spread short, like sell some premium or something. I don't necessarily want to buy puts because the battle group is still over there. Iran and US still are not coming to any agreement. So at any moment in time, volatility could spike in oil again, and you could be trading right back up to $95. So I don't really love the idea of it, but we'll see what it does here. I would feel a lot more confident in putting on that trade if we were setting like at resistance, other than just trend line resistance. Like if you had an objective level there as well, that would give me a little bit more confluence anyways. And we'll see, right? It's trending today. So generally speaking, when you have an asset that is trending, even if it is coming into resistance because it's above the prior day's high, you're in an uptrend. You don't necessarily want to step in front of that with a short, because you can get continuation higher for the rest of the day, as obviously buyers were aggressive in this morning. Whether or not they're able to keep that aggression and all that'll play out later on today. But anyways, because you have oil trading up aggressively today, the S&P 500 is pulling back aggressively. It's down. At one point, it was down more than this. Yeah, it has since bounced slightly. You're back retesting yesterday's low. I put on a long this morning down here at yesterday's open. Obviously, I got stopped out. I tried another one here, got stopped out. So 0 for 2 on the long scalps on the SPOOs. Clearly the SPOOs not liking what's going on right now. So maybe kind of be careful if you're looking for longs on this S&P 500. This was a pretty aggressive move lower this morning. And also your VIX is up. It's back up to 1586. So volatility is spiking. I would be okay with fading this move if it was showing me any signs whatsoever of it slowing down at resistance, and it just isn't. That's a big strong close above resistance. So as of right now, I have to treat this as there's potential for this to keep going up. And I can't really sell the S&P yet because the S&P is still above support, and the 21 exponential is that support. So I can't really be a seller yet on this. I need a little bit more downside. I do have a put open, but it's just for protection. That thing stays open year round. This is a spread trade that if the S&P were to have, a 20% correction or something crazy, then this trade would pay. But other than that, it's just for insurance. I don't have a short side bias just yet. But things are going to shift here probably if we don't start to see some kind of support come into play. So we're just waiting for the market to open. We got 1 minute on the bell. Portfolio's doing really good, but I assume some of these numbers are going to change here on the open. I know RCL is a trade we put on yesterday in the Discord. That is getting beat up this morning. So we're probably losing there. Let's go look at RCL. It's Royal Caribbean Cruises. Yeah, it's getting beat up pretty bad here this morning. It looked to me like support was going to hold yesterday. Obviously, when we took out this day's high, it looked like you were going to see a bounce, right? Wrong. Here we are this morning, gapping down under all these lows. So now you have a scenario where you got a gap and go on your hands. This thing could literally just puke all day. So if you're in RCL, here in about 5 or 10 minutes, you might seriously want to think about closing it because it has lost the plot. Support is no longer holding. It kind of got me. I thought for sure we were going to see it hold at 50 and then, start to head higher. And no, sir. No, sir. We're down 295. So that means this is in the money. Oop, wrong one. This expiration right here. Not quite in the money, but it's almost in the money. So we're going to eat a loss on that one. And right now, it is still effectively a very small loss. But it could get much, much worse today. And then what was the other trade that we put on? I've been putting on so many. AXP, American Express. Never leave home without it. This one, what's it doing this morning? We'll pull up AXP real quick. Yeah, another one that did the exact same thing that RCL did yesterday. Put in this V bottom, gapped up, took out the highs, and then faded. And here you are gapping back down today. So that's a 21 retest rejection. And now because you're under the 50, there's a really good chance you're coming down to 330. And we are, well, that's max loss. No point in getting max loss. It's not doing what we want it to do, so we'll bail on it. As long as you're below yesterday's low, my trade thesis is no longer valid. So unless you bounce here today and close back above 338, I will be closing this. So AXP and RCL, both no bueno. MicroStrategy pulling back viciously here on the open. Kind of assumed that was going to happen. Let's just go take a look at what these are at right now. $5. We can literally sell it for $4.70. That's a 100% return. So if you want to bounce on it, you can bounce. But make sure you sell both. We took it as one trade. We bought it for $2.90. We're making $2.70. Not bad. Not bad. Not quite a 100% return, but almost. Not bad. All right, what's the old bitty boy doing now? Pulling back. So the sellers, I imagine, have the POC up there on the high, just like they did yesterday, and they do. You're never going to be stopping that. That's always going to happen. People miss the rally, so they got to short it, right? I missed the rally, then that means I got to go short. That's not the right way to do this, but sometimes it works. Gold pulled back this morning. It was under the prior 4-hour swing lows, so I was kind of cautious. But if gold holds support at about 44.70, I mean, you're buying it after it's already experienced a large move. So you're kind of buying highs here. And it's not just one day, it's a big move. This thing was trading at $4,000 2 weeks ago. That's a $500 move. That's a pretty large move on gold. So you are buying highs. You're above last week's high right here. Not great place to be a buyer. I like buying at prior week lows and prior day lows. On the scalps, like the intraday trades, I'll pay attention to prior 4-hour swing lows, but not for like a long-term buy and hold. Long-term buy and hold, I want to buy deeper support, longer term supports. Multi-day tests. Like the reason we got long gold the other day, Tuesday, was because we were getting a multi-day low test. Also testing the 2026 yearly opening range. So naturally the gold position's up. And GDX is up. Yeah, we sold that. What did we get on that? We sold it naked because we wanted to get filled on the shares. We sold it at 253. So we're not almost. I mean, that is half. I'll close it when I'm at 75% of the profit. And then BE, I've got to close this one today because it's breaking down. I don't want it to get any closer to my short put. Let's go look at BE. This is Bloom Energy. It was part of the AI trade. So it's broken support here with continuation. Yesterday was a continuation day as you made a fresh lower low. And today you are gapping down. The only way I keep this trade open today is if Bloom Energy gets back above 205.50. My short put is here at 170. Each day that this goes lower takes away from the P&L that I currently have. Yesterday I was up 1100 on this trade. So I definitely want to close this if it starts to trend here today under 200 bucks, 200 buckaroonies. And then we'll run some scans and see if we can find anything else to put on today. As we will free up some of this risk. Let's go see what this IBIT ended up doing. Yeah, I mean, that's good, man. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I paid $75 for this. So this trade is up over 200%. 200% is a nice win. We'll take that. So get that one gone. Let's go ahead and keep an eye on Royal Caribbean. As that one is potentially in free fall here. Yeah, next area of potential support, 289. I mean, I could hold it, but it's trending now. I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one. Might have to give them a buck to get them to fill it. This one I had trouble getting filled. Actually, that's not give them $1. Damn, what is that? Yeah, just give them $1. Don't give them $10. Tightwads. Look at S&P bouncing here. That's SPX. Wrong one. Look at this thing. What are you doing? You're supposed to fade. You're supposed to sell off, dude. I don't know. I would look at this as a buying opportunity. Me, myself, and I. Like, I was looking for longs this morning. But anytime you're trending, it's not really a good idea to try to force the issue. Probably going to see the sellers show back up. I wouldn't doubt it if they showed up right there. Yeah. Makes sense. Let's go look at USD JPY as it is doing something weird. It's also pulling back, right? Fade the dollar. If this is what it's going to be, then there is still clean support under it. It's so hard for me to get a dollar bear bias right now. Those rollover rates have not changed at all. Nothing has changed on the macro. But I don't want to stay on the sidelines either. I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion. Where should we look for dollar short? Yeah, I mean, it costs $1.11 on 10,000 units to hold this thing short. So if it's not trending lower for the long-term hold, it doesn't make much sense to be short the dollar there paying $1. I think I would rather pay less than that. Pound dollar to be long, that would be short the dollar. You're paying less than $1 here. You're paying 44 cents. So that's better. And then look up here, though. Aussie dollar. It's cheaper still. 13 cents. So that's the only thing driving my Aussie dollar long bias. That and gold strength. But if you can tell me a better reason for shorting the dollar in another asset, I am all ears. Because I would love to have some short dollar exposure. I don't want to be long the dollar when it's going in the opposite direction, if you will. All right, so Bloom Energy's bouncing here, so that's good. That means our P&L is going to go up on that one. Yep, we're back up above $1,100. It'd be nice if we could get to 75% on this one as well. We would close it out. GLD looking good. Coke looking good. MO's back in the green finally. Bouncing. It did not liquidate Q2's low. That's what we were looking for. Right there is Q2's low. I was thinking maybe it liquidates Q2's low and then builds in a range. So I guess I put that trade on. I did not wait for the liquidation. Let me go see what I did there. Well, we're barely up on this, so we could... We're long 250 shares, so we could sell 2 puts. At 64. Let's see. There's not much premium there. But it would be naked. Let's see what it does today. If it comes back down to my entry, I'll exit it and then just sell 2 short puts at 64. Because then we'll get the liquidation of Q2's low, which is this wick right here. We'll get that liquidation, and then if it continues, we'll either A, cut the trade, or... Yeah, we'll just cut the trade. There is no or. All right. So we got the ES here. Let's see what's going on with volumes. Let me make sure. Let me make sure we're setting at yesterday's low. Those are the only levels I care about. Putting in a little bit of divergence here on the 4-hour. $14 is that prior day's open, and you can see that the volumes are building up here. See these numbers, how they're going up. Watch these numbers. If they start to get into the 4 and 5 and 6,000 contracts and prices staying under this white line, you could put on a short here and target maybe yesterday's low, as that is well over 10 points. I mean, it's already looking like it wants to hold. Fairly light volumes today, even though the VIX is up, which is odd. The VIX has broken back under 1572, which is last week's high. Copper is down today too. So copper's down, gold's down, dollar's up. For those reasons, you could potentially be a seller, right? 77.14 is that level that I would look to hold. If you're closing candles back above it, then be careful. But if you're unable to do so, this would be my downside target. And I wouldn't take it off right there exactly. I would do it a point and a tick above. So 99.50 would be take profit. But that's only if 14 holds. Because like I said, even though this thing looks nasty today, you're still in buy the dip mode on the S&P. I haven't seen any reason for that to change. The 21 is still holding as support, if you will. So your dip buyers are going to be buying the S&P here. You're down 1.5% from the highs. That's generally when you start to see dip buyers show up. 1, 3, 5, 7, 10% dip buyers are buying. So if you're above 10% down, it's a buy the dip. Barely down here. 1.5% off the highs. That doesn't scream bearish to me. And that's after a fresh breakout too, mind you. If this was like a rejection or a reversal, like a liquidation break style trade, you would have put in a wick above these highs, and that would have been it. One wick, and then you reject. Maybe two tops, and then it rolls. This was solid breakout with upside continuation. So it's hard for me to be bearish here. But with that being said, you are below last week's low. So the sellers should be able to get a little bit more downside continuation here. So for that reason, maybe you could put on that short. I'm not going to do it, but it's probably going to come back and bite me in the ass. As it definitely looks like the trade to make here, intraday. FXCM. Yeah, I mean, the sellers are aggressive. Very aggressive. I'm wrong. That's not Wednesday's open. That's daily support. This. Doesn't look like it's going to give us a chance for an entry anyway. But beautiful vol spike on Bitcoin too. Look at that. Boom. Love it. Absolutely love it. And that happened on an upside move. So that's what we were looking for. A vol spike. We didn't care if Bitcoin went up or down. It didn't matter. We were positioned to catch both. Bitcoin is still up pretty good here, so maybe that MicroStrategy trade gets better. All right, Bloom Energy's back under. It's a pre-market liquidation. I'll give it about 10 more minutes. I don't want to get out of it if that ends up being just that, a pre-market liquidation, and then it rallies for the rest of the day. I'd be upset. I mean, really and truly, what am I doing? I'm literally trying to save like $100 on the trade. I should just cut it loose and look to put that money to work elsewhere, because this trade is tying up about $8,000, $9,000 worth of margin. You can see how the puts have still like a lot of value on it, because you're breaking down, and that's making it go up. IV's also going up. And that's what I put this trade on for, was to soak this up. And time. But with the threat of the breakdown, I have to close it. Back up here, and we're in good shape. We'd be in the middle of the range. So if we could get back to 220s, 220, 230, that would be beautiful. MicroStrategy. I know a lot of people are going to be watching that today. I'm sure people are putting on trades on MicroStrategy now. Beautiful. Right back up. Off the low. We could get up there. Woo-wee. That's not going to happen, most likely today. But that would be sweet. Let me check the comments. Good morning. You think Bitcoin going to hold to 200? I hope it does. I mean, I don't know, because, I mean, where is it? Right? It's like, hello? You know what I mean? It's right there. If it was down here, I would say, yeah, probably, right? But because it's up here at the high of day, I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, that wouldn't even be a pullback, right? Like, if you close here, you could arguably say that this is still just a 200-day retest. Like, you haven't broken above it yet. You haven't closed above it yet. So you can't really even say that it's broken it. So will it hold? You first have to break it. Then retest it. No, I would say if you're looking for Bitcoin long exposure, wait for the 21-day or 50-day exponential retest. I know that seems like an insane thing to say, because the 21 and 50 is way down here, but price will come in contact with both of those averages again in the future. I just don't know at what price. I don't know what level you'll be at when that happens, but that's going to be the true test, in my opinion. So this is all good and lovely, and I'm glad that it happened because we made a lot of money, so yay. But for Bitcoin long-term construction, I need to see buyers step up on those retests of those averages. If it can start doing that, that's great news, and I'll start adding to my exposure. So I was buying at $67,000. I started buying in June, July at 67. And I made it very public that that's where I was accumulating at. And then when we got the lower lows, when this happened, I added more, and then I stopped. I didn't add anything at all through the month of August. None. So I'm just waiting to see if we do end up making fresh year lows, or do we rally. And now those 67K bids are all up nicely. So I'll start to average in, cost average as you get those 50 tests and holds. Because a 50-day is it's a strong trend indicator. It just basically means if you're able to hold it with daily closes, that you have a strong trend in place, right? The 200 is more of a longer term, much slower trend. Like, yeah, it's still above the 200 day, so it's still doing good, but if you're holding the 50, then you're in good shape. And then obviously the weekly 50 is another, right? You haven't even gotten there yet. So Bitcoin still has a lot of work to do here. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I'm not going to go as far as say as the low is in. However, because you're getting upside continuation today, it puts the odds are good that the low is in. What I was really worried about was yesterday was just going to be like a liquidation, and then we get the vol spike with a dump. That's what I was concerned about, and could still happen, right? The daily looks crazy, but that week ain't nothing. The weekly, it's a $10,000, slightly less than a $10,000 range. It's a big move, but I mean, you got bigger candles right there, and there on the downside. So hypothetically, I don't think it is going lower. You've liquidated quite a large number of sellers. Right here is your short side liquidations. I mean, that's big. That's big. Big spike. One of the biggest that I can see on this chart, at least. I can't shrink it or anything. But yeah, I mean, it looks really good. You saw that, like, yeah. I mean, it's up there in terms of some of the highest ever liquidations. And then if we go look right here, just looking at the liquidation map, I would say you've destroyed everything going out to 30 days. Let's see if it will allow me. I mean, I don't know. Probably wants me to log in. Well, that didn't work, did it? Whatever. We want liquidations. Wait, we don't want to look for stocks. Here, where's this at? Right here. You pull this up. So this was flat on the floor yesterday. Let's go look at what it did on a 30-day. Look at that. Like 30 days out, you totally annihilated the shorts, right? They're gone. They are cleaned out. So now the only thing left to liquidate is on the low side or the buy side. However, if you don't see a strong move back down in that direction, then that tells us that the market's got good demand, and you're probably just going to see it being back and forth as it builds this liquidity back up and then liquidates higher. 90 days out, you did okay. But if you look at this long term, trust me, there is still plenty of stuff to liquidate on an upside run. And then if you like the heat map instead, where you're looking at it this way, it's going to look the same. You've annihilated probably everything going out a month. Yep. Like yesterday, that's that wick. There wasn't anything up here. So why did you get upside expansion? That's demand coming in, pushing price. Short squeeze. So now it's just liquidity from today, yesterday, today, that stuff. So S&P's dropping as Bitcoin is rallying. That's funny. I guess it's not rallying, not really. But you are seeing the SPOOs roll over here. There was that target. So I should have taken it, but dollar is pushing up. This is where I would want to see the dollar stop going higher. So we got 23 minutes left on this close. I'm going to let it close, and then I'll probably try a short. On the spot FX market, I'll just short this product wherever this candle closes. This is a midpoint test of yesterday. So this is generally where if the sellers are real and this is going lower, then we would want to see them show up somewhere in this area. Literally, this is a big zone here where they could show up, but definitely a midpoint test. Had a nice one. Bilk, Sim, Straw, Pax. Oh, I don't know what that is. 250% ROI. Not bad. Long at 62K, says Oxum. Good job. It's a good place to be long from. Bitcoin's current price, 71.5. Love it. I think pullback 69 to 68. If that holds, we bounce to June's high. That's the next liquidation point for sure. Oh, I'm already here. On June's high. That is the definite next liquidation point. Let's go see if we've busted through any on-chain indicators. Those things... Let's see where the realized price is. Yep, you're breaking through the short-term holder realized price. That's sometimes known as resistance. So you could watch for a test or a retest of that. That price comes in at 69K, so right in line with where you're looking for support. 69 is right in there. So basically where yesterday closed is where that short-term holder realized price is at. All right, we gotta be careful here. I don't want, if this is going to stop moving higher, I'm willing to put the sell on now. Let's see what it looks like on the small time frames. We have a 5-minute close at 158.869. If that can hold, if you do not see any higher closing 5-minute candles, I'm going to send that sell order off. My cat is in there going ape. Going bananas. I really think that looking for shorts today on the dollar is going to be a little bit aggressive. I think tomorrow will probably be a better trade on this. So wherever it closes today, tomorrow I would be watching today's high, wherever that ends up being. If it's up here, then I would look for, you know, a liquidation above today's high, and then maybe look for the short. Because today you're pulling back, so you have all of that bullish momentum in this already. Daily supply is setting right there. And it's a beautiful supply candle. I mean, absolute gorgeous looking supply zone. I just don't know if it'll hold. It's still very expensive to put shorts on this. And for that reason, I can see this thing finding support. I think this one is going to be the best one to look to look for short side dollar exposure. I just don't love the price. I don't like where it is. I don't like that it's been going up for 4 straight weeks either. Now, granted, each one of those weeks did have a fantastic pullback. I mean, every week, look at that. Pulled back to the open, buy. Pulled back to the prior open, buy. Pulled back to the prior open, buy. It's been pretty simple the last 4 weeks. Now, will it be that simple in the future? No. No, it will not. In fact, it probably won't do that again for at least 3 weeks. So I don't want to buy it up here on the weekly high is what I'm trying to say. I would much rather buy it down there or potentially here like next week. But unfortunately, USD/JPY is pulling back right now. And that pullback could last, though, for a couple of days. Let's see what the bond yields are doing. Copper also down. I don't have futures data, so let me pull up the CFD. Yeah, copper's down today, so this is also putting pressure on stocks and metals. So you've got dollar up, copper down. Did we get filled on that? No. See, now we're getting killed because we didn't get filled and I... Damn it. It was a $60 loss. Now it's a $180 loss. So, Jesus. 3 times worse just by giving it that much time. It's probably going to bounce soon now. It should have just left it on. We'll see. If it bounces back up into this, then I'll look for bullish stuff again. This one isn't really in a good, strong, bullish trend. If I remember. Oh, no, it is. That's what it was. Okay, yeah, no, I do like this. But it definitely needs to hold. Definitely needs to hold support. So we'll see if it can get down in here. This would be a better place to then sell puts under 277. Give me 1 second. I have to take this. All right, that was quick. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm going to leave this alone for a little while, see if I can get a better trade on it down at 277. It's in a really good uptrend. 5 years. This is 5 years worth of data. So the last 5 years, this has been trending nicely. Obviously, the last 2 years, not so good, right? But it's as long as it holds support, we can say that potentially we could get long for a breakout eventually. You're breaking that very near-term trend line, though. But I would be more prone to look for the averages to hold a support or last month's low. But the 50 is here, so... who knows, right? I don't try to predict what price will do. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble by just simply trying to predict what price will do. I just see if it's trending higher. Does it look like it could be at support? If the answer is yes, I send the trade off. That's it. Some of them work, some of them don't. As long as I keep my risk small and the ones that don't, everything works out. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. If the trend is your friend, goes a long way. This is trending up on a 5-year basis as well. Also, in a period of consolidation, yeah, but it is making higher lows. That's a good sign. So this one probably too will have to be closed. I got a little bit aggressive, looking for the daily 50 to hold. It didn't. This one has the 200 right here, so I'm going to leave this one open. And besides, we've got 8 days on it. So in 8 days, it could bounce. It could bounce, so I'm not going to get... The max loss on this trade is like 300, I think. What was it? Oh, I don't have the max loss on that screenshot. My bad. The max loss is like 350, which is, you know, it's less than 1% of this account. Way less. 350 would be like less than 0.5% loss. So we keep our losses small. These winners are usually small too, but you just keep knocking them out of the park. Just keep batting them. Bam, bam, bam. Occasionally we put on risk that has big risk, like BE. That's a big trade, big risk, big profit potential, $2,000 potential. That's if you set in it for the entire expiration. I'm not going to do that. 75%. That's the way I do it, and that's the way it works. So I'll keep doing that. Etsy's up. I mean, if you just look at the losers compared to the winners, you can definitely see that, yeah, things working out pretty okay. And essentially, we're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Some of them work, some of them don't. We got support at the 200, so I'll give it time. Besides, if you're willing to accept max loss, it could end up being just like iBit was today. It already got to max loss, so there was no point in closing it, and it ended up becoming a massive winner compared to the capital that was being used. I put the trade on for $75. The $75 was max loss. I ended up closing it for $250. That's fantastic. I would do that every time if I could. Every day. All right, let's go look at USD JPY. We should be getting closer to that 30-minute close. We are. It isn't really making headway. So I'm going to go ahead and send it off. 158.86 is the price to watch. You start closing 5-minute candles above that, then you're probably going to eat a stop loss. So just get it, if you take it, just get a stop loss above the high of day. If you take it right now, that's less than a 10 pip wide risk. Obviously, the wider the risk, the better. So size correctly. Position size is key. So here on SPCX, we are breaking down under support. It's just a 3-day low. It isn't a week low yet. But still getting closer to our risk. We got 1 day left on this. We want to see it stay above 130. Last week's low. As long as it expires inside this candle, we will get all the premium. Or, well, no, we can't now. We could have probably earlier. Now, we don't have 75% of the P&L. What else was on watch? I know this one and that one was CDNS. Okay, this one's under support, so I'm going to drop this one off of watch. Yeah, you're trending lower at this point. It still looks really good in terms of the 5-year data. Like, that's a clean looking trend. Very clean. But right now, it's in a period of risk. And it lost the 200, so you might see it much lower. We'll watch July's low. It's testing the monthly 21 exponential. Last month, you could count that as a test and hold. But now this month, you're liquidating all the longs from last month. So if it starts closing daily candles back above 320.07, we will then sell some puts on it. Because at least then we can say it has reclaimed June's or July's low. So maybe it's done going down. Maybe support has come in. So keep CDNS on watch, but only then. Would I put the trade on it? And that's all we had, really. Let's go look at WDC. Obviously, this is going to have a very clean 5-year trend as well, as this one got in on the AI bubble. Damn it, man. We would have been able to put this trade on back then. When was that? Yeah, August 6th was the day to put this trade on. Or August 7th. Now we can't do anything. We're in the middle of the range. Let's go see, though. That's at 420. There's probably plenty of premium down there. 422. I would just rather get it if it gets back above 407. Wait for the liquidation again and then see if it bounces back above. Then take it. As at least it gives you a few days, right? Like, we're looking to sell weeklies on something like that. Plenty of premiums on this thing. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of premiums on it now, to be honest with you. If you wanted to sell, you could sell. I just don't know if it'd be a good idea because you've lost support. So now you're trending. You're not trending under yesterday's low yet. You did today. You did take out the low. So as long as you stay under 499.84, the threat is lower. So if you put in a bullish engulfing today, then I would be willing to sell the 450s. That's going to require a ton of buying power. If you don't have the buying power, then just put on a spread. As that's going to drop the buying power massively and still give you a decent little profit target. To be fair, since this one's so volatile, that might be the thing I do. There's juicy premiums here. That's, 50% return on capital almost. If the trade works out. Would I loan $350 to my friend if he was going to give me back my $350 plus $175 interest? Yes. Of course I would. 7 days a week. So, yeah, I'll take that trade. But I need for the buyers to prove something to me first. Because right now the sellers have it. Pretty clean downtrend there. And typically these channels, depending on where it is, I guess you could make the argument that people look for the upside breaks on these kind of patterns as well. But I'm seeing lower lows. So whenever I see lower lows and lower highs, I look for that to continue. At least until that's broken. And it's a very clean channel. So I can't really do anything here. until either the buyers prove it or we get a retest of July's low. Sellers are not winning the battle here on the SPOOs, interestingly enough. They are still hyper aggressive though. Oh, big build up. See, that's what I'm talking about there. But look down here, you've gotten into the 8s. This one's about to go into the 8s. So now it'll be interesting to see, does price bounce aggressively from 7,700 or does it shoot through? If it shoots through, I would say there's a really good chance you're at least taking out at 76.91, but fresh day lows are coming. That's big volumes. If it gets back up, and arguably I would say that the sellers have potentially lost the battle here. We shall see. I was watching this yesterday, and there was a big spike of volume came in on this thing, but it was before the New York session even. It was over 2,000 contracts. I was literally watching it, and it was a very low volume period, like down in here. See how you're like sub 1,000 on these numbers? That's what I was looking at. I was literally looking at that stuff. And then all of a sudden, one of these volume nodes went boom out to like 2,200. So someone sent a 2,000 contract ES mini trade at that price. I saw that and I bought it just randomly thinking, hey, what can it hurt? And it ended up working out. But it doesn't always pan out that way. Level 2 data is very difficult to interpret, and plus things can be spoofed. Like yesterday we were watching the buyers hold support and volumes were not going up because people can hide their orders. So if they hide their orders, you're not going to get that data coming through on the level 2. Or it'll show up as one contract when it's really 100 or 1,000. Dumb. But it is kind of like a POC. So like, if you're looking at how we look at Bitcoin, for instance, if you look at the intraday charts, get rid of the moving averages, just pull up session volume profile, you can see your point of control is clearly here. That's where the most people have traded today. The most amount of volume was thrown down at that price. And since prices backed away from it, you can say that those are sellers. But here's the rub. If it breaks out above it, all of those sellers stops are going to add fuel to the fire, because sellers' stop losses are buy orders. Is this the POC? At 8,007? I would say it is. Yes, there's your high of day right there. I don't see anything bigger than that. So your point of control has migrated lower on the SPOOs. That should be bearish. If price stays under, I would be bearish. Once again, we're in discovery mode. It seems like that's happened. That was going on Tuesday as well. It's an objective level to mitigate risk from. Yesterday's low, so if you want to put on a long at yesterday's low, 698 is all the way down here at these big volumes. But if price falls back through it, you're probably going to see a 5-point stab to the downside at a bare minimum. So 95s is where it would go to most likely if it breaks under 7,700. And then I would not be putting a bid on down there. I would want to see it hold here, but for the buy, you're buying with the VIX up, with the dollar up. It's an aggressive trade. Copper is up also, I mean down, so being a buyer would be a very aggressive trade. You're probably going to fare better tomorrow. Oil has pulled back off of that trend line amazingly. You're back down to yesterday's high, so I mean that's pretty aggressive sell side pressure. Can you check LTC and ADA? Yes. They look good, just like Bitcoin. Surprisingly, it's not retesting its 200-day yet. So, nowhere near as strong as the Bitcoin breakout. This has happened to us with silver as well. So, I'm long gold, but gold was the actual signal, right? Gold gave the signal to be a buyer. Silver did too. But the reason we bought gold was because China's economy was coming back online. So we had a technical buy signal and then a macro buy signal. It's not the same for silver, although they usually do the same thing. You're going to have that with crypto as well. If Bitcoin rallies, usually the majors in crypto are going to rally with Bitcoin. Some will be stronger, some will be weaker. This looks weaker. Is it? Yes. Bitcoin is up almost 4 or what? Yeah, almost 4% today. Litecoin 1.5. So clearly Bitcoin is stronger. Litecoin is into resistance. Looks like weekly resistance. Yeah, I would just wait for, I mean, that's where the big resistance is, right? So you've got this zone of resistance just overhead. So if Bitcoin pulls back today, I would say so does Litecoin. But I mean, it looks like it wants to go up. It looks like you're holding support. That support can break. But until it does, I would argue that the buyers are aggressive. You're not really seeing that in this data, but that's going to change from exchange to exchange. I would argue that looking for shorts right now on crypto is probably not a great idea, but I could make that case also for longs. But this is when everybody wants to get involved, right? They wait until the big move happens and they miss it usually. Then they want to get involved because they have FOMO again. I wouldn't be getting involved here. You're right at resistance. But it does look constructive and it looks like it wants to go higher. So I would watch 45.26 moving forward. Any pullbacks, if they're deeper than the prior day's low, that's the lowest point I would want to see. Hold. If it could do that, right there, I could potentially be a buyer. I don't believe in Litecoin long term, so I'm not going to invest in it. That's just me. Some people argue that Litecoin is better than Bitcoin. I say no, it isn't, because of just sheer value, the value that's associated with Bitcoin, the price per coin. If Litecoin was better than Bitcoin, Litecoin would be $70,000, right? And Bitcoin wouldn't be. But that's not the case. You have a sub $100 product for now. But in terms of what it does, what it's designed to do and all that, I don't know. I never looked into it because I mainly only trade Bitcoin. It's the most liquid. It's the larger asset. Watch 45.100 or 45.10, sorry. 45.10. That's where you want the very bottom support test to be. I would be very concerned if it got back down there, though. You never want to see when you see a breakout like this, you don't want to see it give it all back. That is not a good sign. You don't want to see that. You want to see higher low support be built. So the first area to watch is today's low. And it never gave you a chance to buy it. So buyers are aggressive. In fact, you haven't made a single 4-hour lower low yet. So you still have quite a bit of bullish momentum. I just don't know how much more they're going to be able to pull out of it, obviously, with resistance being up there. Cardano. This one actually started to look good a while back and then faded. But now it's popping again. It's a 19-cent asset. Technically, it looks brutal. You're into resistance as well on this. Chances are it breaks it if Bitcoin stays strong, though. You got a beautiful midpoint test on today's low. That's where I would have wanted to see it hold, and it did hold there. So that's constructive. But it's late to do anything with it now. That's where I would have wanted to be a buyer. Like if I was interested in buying Cardano for the up trade today, that's where I would have been buying it. this one gave you that shot last night. And then again at midnight, you would have been able to get long at 18.2. That's that wick right there. That's where you would have been looking to put that on. Now, obviously, these, if they do break out, they can go higher, but I wouldn't be expecting it to be a bigger range than yesterday, because yesterday was when you got the news. So in terms of standard deviation, this is about as high as I would expect it to go today. This thing is very illiquid. There isn't many people trading this. It's probably more liquid on other exchanges. Yeah, it looks way better on Coinbase in terms of just candle construction. But same thing. You should have been buying the midpoint, not looking to buy the highs. But if Bitcoin, if this is kicking off a new bull market, then most of these will be far more expensive in the future. So you just have to weigh the pros and the cons, I guess. S&P is holding support. So 77's holding so far. Now there's 4 rows of 8,000 contracts defending. That thing got cooked on light volume. Super light volume. From 22 and under, you got nothing there. You don't start getting back into thicker volumes until 15. So there's 20 points that the S&P could rally if it gets going. That's if it gets going. Depends on what the dollar does here today. Does it hold or does it get faded? This is a very small pullback off of that midpoint test. But because I sold it, so far so good, right? I would love to see it eventually, within the next 2 or 3 candles, make a lower low. If it continues to build in small range like this, I would say it's probably snapping that stop. Bitcoin flies above their cost basis and they'll call him a genius. Of course. All the Bitcoin permabulls will anyways. There's like, I would argue there's just as many perma bears out there nowadays. It wasn't always the case. Back in early 17, you couldn't hardly find a bear. Everybody was bullish on Bitcoin. Couple bear markets later, now everybody hates Bitcoin. Everybody hates Bitcoin. Bitcoin sucks. It's going to zero, blah, blah, blah. So I can't wait until Bitcoin hits 150, 175, then 200. And beyond. I mean, all your central banks, I mean, not central banks, but all of your biggest U.S. banks are involved in Bitcoin now. Even the guy, Jamie Dimon, he hates Bitcoin. And he even told his trading desk to spend about 500 milli and get involved. When big money says one thing and does another, that type of shit puts me on notice. Like, you hate it so bad, you badmouth it every time you get on CNBC, but now your ass is out there buying it? Okay. Okay. And it's not just Goldman Sachs, it's others, like every one of the top 10 banks in the US are invested in Bitcoin in some way. It's insanity. Of course it's going higher. They would not do that if it was going lower. They would not be buying it. Sailor literally exhausted all supply, sold into the lows to finance dividends, now still owns a ton of Bitcoin and aren't in such a big loss anymore. Well, they still are in the red, obviously, as long as Bitcoin is under 70, what is it, 76.4? So they're still in the red, 75.4. They're still in the red, and I would assume this level will act as resistance. It did last time, right? You did break above it, but it's time and price. It's not just price. Time and price. How much time did it spend above? Not much. A couple weeks, and then it boom right back under. So if Bitcoin can build in, say, 5 or 6 weeks above 75.4, I wouldn't doubt it getting back to positive on the year. And that's right here. So watch price and remember what I said. It's time and price. So that way, when you're scrolling your YouTube and your Twitter feeds and you're seeing all the bears tell you to sell all your Bitcoins because you're an idiot, remember, it's time and price. If Bitcoin spends much time above 75,419, it is going higher. I don't care what the bears say. Bears want you to panic. They want you to puke out all of your Bitcoin so that way it brings in more selling pressure. I want you to participate in Bitcoin bull markets because they're bigger, they last longer, and they go up more. I mean, you can only make 100% on a short times leverage. You can make unlimited money on the upside. It's infinite. The bullish case is better on all assets. It doesn't make sense for retail to be shorts. They don't have enough money to be a seller, first and foremost, to be sell side only. But for whatever reason, it's the fun side to be on, I guess. Or it's the side they have chosen to be on. What is Euro Pound doing? It's bouncing. So Euro seems to be bouncing a little bit here. That might help dollar roll over. Oil is still testing the midpoint. So keep an eye on oil today. If it builds in support, breaks out above this trend line, then I would not expect the S&P to recover today. I looked and I didn't really find any news. So to be honest with you, this is just being faded from yesterday. Because if you look at what time the news came out yesterday morning, it was literally right here. The news came out and then that candle exploded to the upside. You've pulled all of that back and more. So for whatever reason, the market has decided to price in that news out. It priced it in as good yesterday and then priced it out. You're trading under where the news came out. So this is still looking pretty bearish. And it is trending at this point. You're under last week's low. So for the bulls to say, yeah, I think this is good, it's going up, or you've got a recovery, you need it above 77.10. It has to get back above last week's low. Then at least you can call it an inside candle. Or at least you can say it's back inside. It's not an inside candle. It's a trending candle. It will always be a trending candle. Is it an engulfing? Oh, what did I just do? Where did S&P go? There. Well, why won't you let me grab it? Oh, here. There we go. Let me get this tab. Drop it back in there. Damn, what did I do? Even price did that. There we go. Thank you. It doesn't look like an engulfing. It isn't. So yeah, it's just a trending candle at this point, but it could get back up inside of last week's range. I think that would be more bullish than bearish. And then I would be a buyer at that point. I think here it's just a little bit more of a, to be a buyer today just makes you a little bit more aggressive than, say, somebody who waits till tomorrow and sees what it does tomorrow. Because tomorrow, if it stays inside of today's lows, then you could be a buyer and your chances would be better. I don't know how the market's going to take this news. I can see it being both bullish and bearish, what they're doing. And clearly they decided to take that as bearish today. But like I said, moving forward, that changes the macro on the US dollar. Even though the central banks aren't raising yet, the BOJ is expected to raise. And then obviously the Fed, we'll see what they do. But as of right now, like, that's still the same. But by them capping rates, that's going to put sell side pressure on the dollar. So that is a fade the rally. That's any pop, you fade that. Now, I don't know if that will stay that way for the long term, but at least right now, you have to be looking to fade dollar rallies. And I thought just 2 days ago, I was completely opposite of that. I was looking to buy this. So some things are changing around here. And it's for the good because Bitcoin loves it. Anytime my P&L goes up, I like it. P&L on the crypto platform is up. Everything's up, except I am no longer positioned in dollar long trades. So I got to get something going over there in the FX account. I want to keep that active. Yeah, XRP, one of the best trades from yesterday. I didn't even look at XRP. What did it do? We'll go give it a quick looky-loo. Nice move, yeah. It's up 21%. I would agree. That's pretty damn good. Bitcoin did not do 20%. ETH did what? Almost 20. I mean, it isn't at it right now, but to that high, you've got 21%. XRP did that. So yeah, it was a good one. Bitcoin did 15. Damn. Damn, Bitcoin. Look at you go. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. BE, what are you doing? We got to manage these things. Still trying to hold. Very choppy, though. Very choppy. GDX, not quite. Etsy, looks like we're about 70% of the profits. Let's go ahead and close this one. Well, maybe. Give these tightwads $1. It'll be $3 because we're 3 contracts on this one. And then they fill it. Oh, it's so annoying. GDX has a little bit more time. MSTR still has a little bit. We got 29 days on this, so we don't have to take this off yet. You can if you want to get your money back plus, 180. I can see that being a good call. Because MicroStrategy might just pull back for the rest of the week. Right? Might want to close that gap. Would love to see it hold the 50. I should have put on more risk on STRC. That was a bad call in hindsight. In hindsight, it was a bad call. I should have bought at least 100 shares of it. I do want to buy more. I do ultimately want to own at least 100 shares of it. I mean, we're in it now. If it could come back to 90, I probably would add those other 50 shares. But yeah, if Bitcoin can get back above MicroStrategy's cost basis, then I want to own some of these. For sure. I mean, this thing pays a dividend every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. That's phenomenal. How long have we been in it? It doesn't tell me. I don't know. There's nothing to do on UPS or Tesla. What's next? SpaceX, still got time on that. PAGP, that's shares owned. O is shares owned. NVIDIA, that's a what was the big short guy? Cassandra. That's his trade. We put that trade on when he was boasting that NVIDIA was going down. He bet $10 million on that trade. He's in a lot of pain. I bet $60 on it. That's not doing so good. MSTR is actually pumping a little bit here. It'd be good if oil could drop and risk could rally. Let's go, MSTR. Let's go. 125s. What are the 125s go? Or not the 125s, but just look at what the ones in the money are going for. So right now, with 29 days to expiration, the in the monies are selling for $10. Damn. Yeah, I might hold this one for a couple more days to see if it can keep going. Look what's going on over here. Look what's going on over here. Nice. S&P is rallying. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Are yields going back down? Probably, yes. Yes, they are. I mean, Bloomberg was acting like the world was ending today because the market was disagreeing with what they did. And yields never did even get back to yesterday's open yet. You can't really make those statements unless you're taking out yesterday's high. They are just so bearish because of Trump. It isn't even funny. Trump's administration, every time they do anything, they're all up in arms about it, acting like the market was dying today. It never got down more than 1%. It's a standard pullback. But they were acting like it was getting killed. Oh, that was such a dumb thing to do. I mean, it is a dumb thing to do. Let's be honest. Very dumb. They're trying to pull the same thing Japan did, so that's going to have long-term ramifications. We'll see what it ends up being, but not good. Shouldn't be messing around with stuff like that. I'm surprised Ethereum is still up like this. If the dollar continues to roll over today, that's going to be good. That's only going to help Bitcoin and crypto rally. Farcoin didn't do anything, really. It's up 15%, but on a week where Bitcoin is up 15%, I would assume Pingu would have been up 70. I mean, Farcoin. Pingu's up huge. Oh my gosh, no it isn't. Yeah, dude, you're right. You're right. XRP did do good. As good as Ethereum did. And these little alts didn't. That's pretty weird. Usually they outperform. Zcash. It even broke out. It went up 14. So now people are going to be watching Zcash for support buys. That's a fresh breakout. I would expect upside continuation if the dollar weakens. All right. Yeah, XRP was one of the best trades yesterday. Good morning, Surf Bro. How are you been? It's been a few days since I've been on the stream, but what's your current view on Tesla and SpaceX? SpaceX we're watching. We're short a Iron Condor on SpaceX right now. We're short the 130 strike puts and the 150 strike calls. So as long as SpaceX is under 150 and above 130, we want it to stay there. At least until this week is over, right? We got 1 day left on expiration. The call side is good. Put side's getting a little worrisome. But yeah, we wanted to stay above last week's low. I don't know if it's going to do that. You've got a daily support zone at 133.21, but that's probably it. You're testing the 21-day exponential right now. So if there's real demand for this stock, as long as this move wasn't just a short covering rally, if there's actual demand for SpaceX, we will know in a couple days. We will know. If you lose the 21 and start trending lower, I would say no, you're going lower. Or at least you're going back to test support at like 105. But there's still, like today is still early. It's 11 a.m. So there's still plenty of time for SpaceX buyers to show up. They're more aggressive today and price is still going down. So that's concerning. I would say next week will be important to see what it does at 130. If you lose 130, you've got an issue. If it holds 130, you could potentially target 150. And then Tesla. I have a 30-day spread on this. Same thing. It's a condor. All right. I'm short the 295 put and the 375 call. Let's see if I got that over here. I do not. So 375 is right here around May's low. $295 is under July's low. So that's what I want to see it do. I want to see it stay inside this and this. And if it does, I will make money. So far, so good. It's retesting the 21-day exponential moving average right now. I don't like that it's trying to fill that gap, and both times that it tried to fill the gap, you couldn't do it. Like, price fell right back down. I don't like that. Because on the near term, you have a death cross. A death cross is a bearish pattern on the moving average structure. That's on your daily time frame, though. On the weekly time frame, you're testing the 200. Or you tested it and bounced. So that is where, that's crucial support for this. 309. It looks okay for more upside on the weekly. The daily is concerning. The daily is very concerning. If 2025's yearly holds as resistance, I'd be a seller on Tesla. I don't know that I would make money, but that's what I would do. Now, obviously, this looks good long term. If you looked at a 5-year trend on this, obviously it's up. But it's losing it. It hasn't really been trending in 5 years, has it? It's a trend, but it's a freaking choppy, very volatile one. Tesla is not for the faint of heart when it comes to investing in it. It is a mover. Day traders love it. Day traders love it because it moves all the time. Big moves up and down. But on the very near term, it looks concerning. I don't care what it does because I'm in that spread. So, I mean, as long as it stays under and above that, I'm golden. I really don't have a directional bias on it. That's the whole point of putting on a condor spread. Because I'm just basically trying to make money based on time decay. There's still 29 days left on this. I put this trade on for $1.30. So that's all I can make. Not a very good trade in terms of how long and all that, but the odds of it making money are very high. I mean, I close it right now for a profit. Right? No. I'm down $1, up $1, down 2, down 5, up 5. Yeah, no, I can't. It's break even right now. But this is really, once you get on the backside of 30 days, time decay starts to peel away. It starts to just fall off. It becomes an exponential rate. So it's about to start paying on a daily basis. But yeah, I would, if you're a long biased on Tesla, you're gonna want to see a hold 340. If you lose that, I don't like that at all. I don't see any reason for Tesla to be bearish right now. However, if they keep spending so much money for CapEx, the market's probably going to punish them, right? And also, they missed on the top line of earnings by a significant margin. And deliveries were down, if I'm not mistaken. So, more sideways. I don't see anything on the near term that would cause this to go into a bull market. Technicals look rough. And the AI build out is costing so much money. I would expect a lot of sideways, choppy price action. SpaceX is literally testing support right now. I am super grateful for what you've done and still doing for people like me. Says, let's talk with Vic. You're more than welcome, my friend. Being a profitable trader is all thanks to you. I caught the gold and Bitcoin trade yesterday on the Euro USD. Nice. Euro USD also skyrocketed yesterday due to that dollar weakness. I was not on that Euro long, though. If you would have listened to me on that, you would have been on the wrong side of that one. So good job. Keep it up. Mitigate risk. That's all it is. And then the more time that you go, as you go on, you'll start to see it'll get better and better from here, my friend. Better and better. It just gets better. Because you've already gotten over the losing. Now it's time to make. All right, let's run a scan. Let's run some scans. See what we can do. See if we can find something to buy or sell or whatever. Where is the scanner? Hello, scanner. Where are you? Alrighty, let's see. I think a lot of these, we may have to make some kind of a change here because I don't want to keep looking at the same ones over and over again. What can we change? What can we change? Let's do this. That only gives us 3. Let's go look at AN. Doesn't have weeklies, but are they liquid? Nope. They're not liquid. Very small open interest. First and foremost. Second, spread is over $2 wide. So, never mind. Leave that one alone. But hang on. Is it worth investing in shares and AN? Let's go see. It's a clean looking 5-year trend. It's almost up 100%. It is testing the 50-week. I mean, it's been in this range for a solid year. That's not something I want to get involved in. It could hold support here. I like it better down here, but it looks better if it can hold support up here, as it's a midpoint test. Yeah, if it can close this week above the 50 and next week also above the 50, next week I would watch 196 as that support level. If it held there, I could try a trade there. But it's expensive, so I'm probably just going to leave it alone. To buy, 100 shares, a $10 move would be a $1,000 win. But it's going to cost an ass load of money to do that. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it. All right, next. This one does not look that good. Let's go check it out. KIAI, KAI. This thing hasn't done anything. About the same for a year. Yeah, you're in a 3-year range here. Obvious support is the yearly open, 286.07. Let's go see if they've got Probably not. No weeklies. Spreads are loose and no open interest, so no. Also expensive. What the hell? Why is this on there? There's no way this looks good, right? OCTV. This doesn't have enough data. No. This thing isn't tradable. That's why it pulled up, because it's literally trying to hold the 50-day. There's not enough data here to make any decision on this. They're a fairly new company, so... Alright, we gotta make a change. This should pull up 1 million stocks here, because this is the same scan we ran before. Dude, I literally just changed this. All right, here we go. Now we got more. Adobe, no. SIBO, let's go look at that. Oh, go backwards, please. SIBO has everything. Chicago Board of Options Exchange. Good looking 5-year trend, so there's growth. Holding the 50-week, that's a plus. Because of today. It's all today. Today. So the 200 days at 280. Let's go sell some 280 puts. Ooh, the spreads are wide. AF, like, that's a $4 wide spread, $3 wide spread. Yuck. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean, I would if they would fill me closer to the closer to the ask. I could do that, but if you try to do a spread on this, it's going to, nope. That's going to be a big fat nope. Yeah, see? It's just way too wide of a spread. That's so weird. I figured something like this would have good options. That's the expiration we just looked at, dude. Yeah, even the 1 day is wide. Let's go look at the 30-day. Even the 30 days wide. They have better open interest out there 30 days, but the spreads they're garbage. Leave it alone. I mean, the fills, if you trade something that has a spread this wide, that can literally determine whether or not your trade is profitable or a loser. It could look good and you feel like you're winning the trade, and then you get out and then you get filled crappy and then you lose money. That's why I stay away from options that aren't liquid. I've lost way too money in the past on these things. I don't trade oil, like micro oil options anymore because of that. I literally almost blew my account once on those stupid things. I mean, they're not wide either. But every now and then you'll get into a scenario where you'll pull it up and it'll have some crazy thing down here. Right now they look good. They look normal. Someone's even on there's even someone here that's got some size on. Yeah. Make sure that spreads are no wider than 40 cents if you're selling or buying premiums. It's a good rule of thumb to live by. CMG, what happened to them? They used to be so good. Chipotle. Let's pull up the chart. CMG. Ooh, they're under their 5-year average. Or 5-year open, I mean. What went wrong? People aren't paying $20 for a burrito anymore? What? You're kidding me. This thing was hot back in 2020, 2022, 2024. Not so hot. Late 2024 and to now. But I mean, I got this. Yeah, that doesn't look good, man. You could arguably still be long 29.67 because you got down there and failed to go lower. But that's the range you're in. There's not enough premium on this to sell way out like that. You're so far away from the money, there would be $0 out there. $29, there's nothing there. This stock got split too, because I remember when this was $1,000 a share. Yeah, 50 to 1. Crazy. That's the top. They did a 50 to 1 split that marked literally the top of their company. Boom. Well, I mean, think about this. If you own... Well, I mean, it really isn't going to affect you because it's the same. You just now own a lot more shares. But this has been a deep correction, a nice rounding bottom. I would arguably say I could be a buyer on Chipotle if it could get back above 37.57. As long as it's under there, the threat is it could go lower. But if it could get back above 37.57, then I would be very much interested in buying Chipotle. Because their food is good. I mean, it's not like phenomenal. It's about like Moe's or any other company that does the same thing, right? Selling big fat burritos. But they use real food, like real vegetables and stuff. It's not like gourmet food. And they do charge gourmet prices though, don't they? I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to get it back. But I want to know if it gets back above there. So I'm going to set an alert. Because if it can hold its 5-year open at 37.57, I want to own it at 37.57. Just in case they get their stuff together. Who knows? Maybe they run some kind of deal like $8 burritos or $5 burritos or something. $5 foot long. and then their business goes through the roof, right? Oh, sudden alert, 3757. Chipotle. Mexican grill. We already looked at the Cibo. Count Dooku. Duke Energy. What happened? Duke Energy. Why is there only 2 candles on this chart? I've traded Duke Energy before, but it used to be just Duck. That's why. Dooku is something else. Huh. Chart looks good. It's longer term range, but it's a safe company. Has been in the past. It's trending higher. Right now, it's suffering a little bit, so give it some time to see if it can recuperate. I like it lower. If it can go lower, I would be willing to sell puts on it, but just not up here. But let's go make sure. Not Dooku, D-U-K, Duck. They don't have weeklies, but neither does AEP. And Duke, most of their work is subcontracted through AEP, or a lot of it anyway. They also do work down here in Florida. I saw Duke trucks not too long ago, actually. They're all over the country. They're subcontractors, as far as I know, like New River Electric. They make money. Good long-term company. Long-term buy and hold, I guess, but I'm not going to get involved with them. Nothing there. GoDaddy. Oh, the chart looks rough on the daily. It's in a downtrend, but let's see what it looks like. GDDY. GoDaddy.com. Five-year looks terrible. How do you go from doing really, really good like that to doing really, really bad like this? What did you do wrong? To be fair, it is, I guess you could say it's on sale, but I would want to know why. Oh, you want to be like that, huh? Oh, I love the God candles. I really do. Based on 24 analysts giving stock ratings for the past 3 months, 10 of them say it's a buy, 2 of them say it's a hold. I mean, a buy. 12 of them say it's a buy, and 12 of them say it's a hold. None of them say it's a sell. Interesting. It goes up every single year. And 2026 is estimated to go up again. So what's the deal? Here, let's do something real quick. Let's just pull up a random earnings and see what happened. Risks include regulatory changes, cost recovery, weather events, commodity price fluctuations, operational interruptions. Okay, so this is the wrong company anyway. We're back on Duke. I was looking at GoDaddy. I don't want Duke, I want GoDaddy. What's the matter with you? Pay attention. No sellers, 20 analysts, all of them buying holds. Okay. Yeah, I can't do anything with it here. It's starting to get okay, right? But $82.81 is clear support on a monthly closing basis. Last 3 weeks, you've been moving away from that level. So if it gets to like 104, then I'd be interested in selling calls. Actually, let's drop that down. Why didn't you delete? I said delete. Thank you. Let's drop that down to here. Hang on, let's go see if the calls are even worth selling. Yes, they've got weeklies. That's good. And there's premium. That's good. And the spreads are good. And the liquidity is not great, but the spreads are tight. Ish, right? Ish. They're tight-ish. They're right on the edge of what we like. So we'll keep GoDaddy. We're not going to put it on watch, but we will set an alert. How's that? And if it gets up there, then we'll look into selling calls. Because we think it's going to stay in this range. Why? Because, well, it's been in this range for quite some time. We don't think a breakout's going to happen anytime soon. But we'll see. All right, we got an alert set. That's good enough. Come on, we got to find something. We got to put a position on. All right, let's move it on. I don't know what that is. Let's look at Take Two. Oh, no, it's not Take Two. It's TKO. Never mind. That's a completely different company than I thought it was. I thought that was a gaming company. It's not. Is it? No, yeah. Take Two is TTWO, right? I don't know. I don't care. They don't have weeklies, whoever they are. Spreads are tight. I mean, loose. Loosey-goosey. AT&T. I know the spreads are tight here. It's just T. Hardly anything on them, though, but it's nice in a slow mover. Let's pull it up. We own Verizon already. The USD JPY is spiking. There's the stop loss. Like I said, whenever you're moving up on the day, sometimes it's better just to wait. S&P is rolling over. It's a complete and total utter dollar story. If the dollar falls, the S&P go up, most likely. You've got whatever caused that little garbage move there. Even copper's up, so, or rallied, so it seems to be the dollar bringing everything down today, or at least the S&P. It isn't affecting Bitcoin in the slightest bit, as Bitcoin is still up on highs. All right, back to AT&T. We are looking for a trade to put on right now, this very moment in time. You are up on the 5-year. Man, that would have been a great place to look for buys. Right now, it's not. It's trending too good. If it could hold 22.57, I would love to get involved with it. But up here, I don't want to do anything with it. Yeah, I guess we'll have to leave it. There's nothing there. So we got some things to watch. Let me just do something real quick. Let's pull up AMD real fast, because AMD's got juicy premiums on it. And it's still range bound here. Ooh. It's into support, but the averages are on the wrong side of price. Trend is moving lower. Can't really. There's not a channel here, maybe. Something like that. Yeah, I think it may still want to pull back a little bit further. Right at the monthly open, though, man. We could trade AMD for the pop here. It's a risky trade. It's slightly aggressive, especially with the S&P being down today. But we could look for an August open bounce. I mean, you're a bearish engulfing weekly range. Oh, I don't really like that. Juicy premiums are gonna entice me, though. I already know. One day, look at this stuff, man. 452.50s. That's a $10 wide spread. So 452. Oh my God, that's right there. It could get there so easily. It could get there in 5 minutes. It's almost there. Yeah, it looks like you've already gotten the August open bounce and it's being faded. I would feel much better about this if the dollar was going down. We can sell on the outside of the measured move. How about that? Let's do that. Let's see what it'll give us. It's not a bad risk to reward, but we really Don't want to see a free fall. The VIX is up. And that's worrisome. It's a trade. I mean, we're hoping it bounces here. And if it does, if it makes a fresh day high, then by tomorrow we'll be golden. 1 day to expiration. That was a hell of a 2-day drop, 3-day drop there. Just bam, 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 right back down. So let's send it. Hold on, let me review and send. Stay put. This is going to fill instantly, so don't put this on if you can't afford the loss. I can. It's not a great day to put it on because the VIX is up, but it's a big level. If the monthly open holds today, then yay. If it doesn't, AMD's going back to 424. That's going to be the next major level. There really isn't anything there. You've got the 21 in between where price is now and the 424 level. We'll see if it can hold here for support today. I think the dollar, hopefully the dollar's just doing a stop run and then it does find sellers. If that happens, we'll be good on the AMD position. We don't have any risk in terms of, you know, nothing major. And the trade is literally mitigated. So back over here, I don't see anything here. And then finally the last page. Oh, there's only one ticker, and XEL. Trade. It's got dividend risk. Leave it alone. Spreads are garbage. All right. Well, that's that. Yeah, Michael Burry. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that NVIDIA trade that I'm holding, that's his trade. He posted on Twitter that NVIDIA was going to zero because of circular financing. He posted this 262 days ago. So because it was a big thing on Twitter at the time, I said, let's take it. Let's just see what happens. If he's right, we'll make money. If he's wrong, we won't. He was wrong, obviously. There's still 148 days left on this option. So there is still a chance it could come back from the brink of destruction. They do have earnings in 6 days. So if they come out and post, like, I don't know, the first ever loss in a quarter and some insane CapEx spend, maybe that sends it lower. Who knows? But he bet $10 million on this trade. He did. $10 million. He's still in it. The open interest is still out. Way up there. I mean, now would be the best time to put this trade on because you could get in it for $10. But I promise you, you will most likely lose that $10. You've only got 148 days left. This option is going to start peeling away what time decay it has left. He's probably going to roll this position if I had to guess. I am not. I will keep a put on. If Nvidia crashes, it's going to bring the whole market down with it. And that's what you would need on a $50 strike put. You would need Nvidia to dump. Because you've already lost so much money to time decay. The $50 strike is here. It would be a 75% correction. Now, to be fair, more than that, 78%. To be fair, you wouldn't need a 78% correction to make money on the trade if you put it on at the same time that I did, because implied volatility will expand and other things will happen that will make that option more valuable the closer price gets to it. So, I mean, you wouldn't need a full-on 78% correction to make money. But you would definitely need a big one, and it would have to happen fast. There is not enough time left on the option for this trade to make money. Because even if it started to collapse now, it wouldn't get down there by the end of the year, probably. We're at the end of August. We're getting ready to go into Q4. July started Q3, where September's the last month in Q3. You got 4 months left. A 75% correction in 4 months would be insanity. So, yeah, that trade ain't making money. Crazy sauce, man. I can't believe he put that much money on it. To be fair, when he put that trade on, where were we? I think we were in here. Like around $1.23 a share. This thing has almost doubled since then. So wrong. Obviously, I don't care about $60. That's why I've left it on. And it's at max loss. It can only go up from here. Pretty much. I mean, so there's no point in closing it. It's already assumed max loss. So we got AMD. We got to call a trade off in AMD. We'll see if it works or not. I kind of dig it. We'll see. We'll see. Everything's pulling back. Nvidia is also almost putting in a bearish engulfing weekly here. So the stock market not loving what the treasury did. But Bitcoin and crypto is absolutely loving it. And that's only going to help our crazy trade that we put on over here on MSTR. Look at this thing. Go. We're back up to 113, baby. Let's go. 125 by Wednesday. Let's do it. I'm ready. If we could get to 125 by Wednesday, that trade will pay handsomely. It'll already double right now. So it's a 100% win right now. We paid $2.97 for the trade. We can close it for $6. Not bad. Not bad. I like it. I like it a lot. I'll like it even more if it gets in the money. 125 is in the money. It's got a room to go. That's a long ways. To be honest with you, I doubt it gets up there. That's another 10% rally. The smart thing to do would be close the trade right now. Even though it's got intrinsic value because of the time factor. The 29 days. But after you get to day 30 and the time decay starts to drop off dramatically. So if MicroStrategy trades sideways here for the next 6 days, you'd be lucky to get out of this with your money intact. So if you took the trade because you watched Saturday's upload and then Monday morning fired it off and got a fill and you're wondering what to do, give it one more day max, right? If you're above today's high tomorrow, then leave it alone and see what you get out of it tomorrow. If you gap down tomorrow, it'll still pay. It'll still make money. You'll get your money back plus some. So it's still going to be a profitable trade. It's just, that's the one bad thing about being way out of the money like that. But yeah, it'll be a way better trade, obviously, if it gets up there. Way better. 29 days isn't very long. So we needed to start moving or keep moving rapidly. Yeah. We'll see what happens. XPRUSDT long 35. Yeah, just hit trail stop. Love it. Good job. What are your trades today? Yeah, we haven't done many because yesterday was such an amazing day. I mean, it basically covered the whole week. We just sent an AMD trade off. We closed a couple profitable trades. Haven't been doing much. Mostly managing this portfolio is all that we've been doing today. We closed several positions. Oh, that reminds me. I want to close this BE also. If it breaks down. Which it still has not done. But it is trying to do. I feel like it's probably going to be okay. You're putting in wick after wick after wick here. Generally, when I see that, it feels like it's getting to about the end of the go. But with that being said, this candle literally just opened. It could dump. I don't know what it's going to do. Obviously, it doesn't matter. It's a nice win regardless what happens with it right here. But yeah, there wasn't nothing. We ran the scan, didn't see anything on the scanner. We just took one on AMD. We do have a couple that are on watch. Damn it. Oh, hello, I'm on that. We have a couple that are on watch. WDC is on watch. WDC's on watch. We want to see if it can get down to 422. If it does, we're gonna look for trades on WDC. If you wanted to force the issue, you could sell calls above 560. But one good day, this thing will be up there. It's a very aggressive mover, so obviously there's tons of premium on it. But like I said, it is a fast mover. It can run you over with the quickness. But you could do like a put spread or a call spread on it. It's got so many strikes. Like you could do an out of the money if you had to put on a trade today, right? Go out beyond the expected move and do something like that, $5 wide. You can make about a $1.83 on a 317 max loss. 430s, 517s. That puts you right at the support zone. Did I say 517? Oof. And you're not even out of the resistance. So that's not even that. You could be there in one day. That's crazy that that's 8 days out. Crazy. It's a high IV play. So you could do something like that. I would rather wait for it to actually test support or resistance and then fail. It did that 2 days ago, but to be fair, 2 days ago would have been a better place to put the trade on. So we're kind of going to keep WDC on watch. Google is also on watch here. At this point, it's breaking down, so we got to wait for it to get back down to the prior month's low at a bare minimum. See if it shows any sign of slowing down there. If it does, we will put on a put spread around the 315 strike on Goog, but once again, it ain't there yet. You got to wait. But other than that, nothing. Nothing. Yeah. AMD. And it's a risky one. Yeah, not a whole lot. Long Nvidia here. It's risky. You're buying a weekly engulfing bearish candle. It's risky, but it is last week's low. So if I want to be a buyer, I want to be a buyer there. Yes, you could put on an Nvidia long, or you could sell a put spread. But just understand the dollar's up today, right? So there's that risk. And the VIX is up today. There's that risk. Now, if both of those things pull back, then Nvidia probably bounces. So you could, let's see, where are you wrong? Well, the risk is easy. You're wrong if you break down here. Yeah, you're wrong if you lose this area. You've got the 21-day exponential under you. You've got earnings next week. So you would have to sell the 4-day put, not the 8-day. You don't want to be on a short put on an earnings call unless it's a put spread, unless you've got all of the risk mitigated. There's just not much here. It's not worth it, in my opinion. AMD looks better, I think. But still the same risk supply. But I guess if Nvidia misses on earnings, it could hypothetically affect AMD. If it was me, I would do it on AMD. Same thing. It's a weekly bearish engulfing. So I don't think you're going to get a big breakdown or a big breakout. You're obviously in a tight range here. I think that's going to continue. As you're in price discovery, this is the best time to sell premium, when you're sideways. In a sideways market. If you think it's going higher, then you want to be on the put side. You could buy calls, but I don't like buying calls unless the conditions warrant such a play, like they did last week for MicroStrategy. We had very low vol, very low implied volatility, all that stuff. Yeah. What is the best way to learn futures/options trading? Just come here every Tuesday and Thursday and watch me do it. You'll start to understand it. It's free. You don't got to pay me nothing. I'm not looking for your email. I'm not asking you to buy my courses. I don't sell courses. Yeah, it's free. Just keep listening every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm already doing it. That's why I do the YouTube channel. I'm doing it here in the same office every day, regardless if I'm live or not. So I decided to just start doing it live so people could watch. It's every trade that I make is with real money. I'm not doing it with fake money. I've got multiple platforms. We trade crypto, we trade stocks, we trade futures, we trade options. We do it all. I've got positions open right now in silver futures, Bitcoin futures, ETH futures. I have trades open right now in options, many different spreads. I have long spreads, short spreads open. I have straight shares. I own 50 shares of GLD, Coke. We own 234 shares, 250 shares of MO, 200 shares of O, 100 shares of PAGP. I mean, I do it all. I do it all. P&L's green, year to date. All's good. All's good. It's free. Anytime you got a question, you can ask me and I'll do my best to answer it. Yeah. If you're trying to learn how to trade, I trade free, live. There are things that you need to know about futures. For instance, if I'm trading the ES futures on Tasty, there's expirations on these. So the crypto platform, those futures are called perpetual swap contracts. That means they do not expire. But the ES or the micro ES, the MES, GC contracts, the gold, those all have expiry. So you want to make sure that you're not holding a long or even a short futures that expires, because you will get delivered. They will deliver that stuff to your door. Yeah. You go long a couple hundred gallon barrels of oil, and you're gonna end up with some barrels of oil sitting in your front yards. Just make sure you understand those kind of differences. And then obviously risk is everything in trading. It is literally everything. Everybody's looking for a hit rate strategy. They shouldn't be. The first thing they must learn to control is their risk. Once you can mitigate risk, it's already been proven to the masses that you can make money as long as you can mitigate risk. Keep the losers small and the winners big, and you make money over time. That's it. That's it. Most people want to make fast money, gamble, and all that. Then you're not going to make it in trading. You'd be better off doing the gambling websites, probably. You can't have that mindset in trading. It's got to be systematic, and you have to make sure that you're not risking too much. So, like, I thought it was a good setup to go long MicroStrategy, given everything. I did one contract on a $100,000 account. Like, I could have literally done 50 contracts if I wanted to, right? I could have done 50, but no, I don't. I make sure that my risk is always mitigated. Always. $300 is about all I want to lose on one given trade, because you're going to have about anywhere between a 40 to 60% hit rate. Different market regimes will call for different strategies. In a trending environment, we can do trending trades. In a sideways environment, we want to do sideways trades. And as long as you're sticking to those mechanics and your risk is mitigated, you will make money over time. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, just keep an eye on the dollar if you're still going to trade this afternoon. It's a dollar story out there right now, in my opinion. And the dollar is pulling back for whatever reason. The losses that it established yesterday, it was so dramatic, I assumed we would see downside continuation, at least a little bit, and that is not what is happening here. And obviously the yields are also going up a little bit too. So because the dollar is inside of yesterday's range, it's not pulled back all the way. So as of right now, it still looks like you have a breakdown here on the DXY. It's natural that the DXY pulls back after hitting oversold on the daily time frame. Look what happened when you hit overbought on the daily time frame on the DXY. You pulled back for several days. Well, now you're hitting the other extreme to the downside. So it does make sense that we pull back for several days here. So just keep the dollar on watch. Look back every time, like almost every single time this thing gets to overbought or oversold, it does pull back. So yeah, that's why we're seeing it pull back a little bit here. We ultimately think there will be downside continuation. We just don't know when or where. We'll have to watch price to see when and where that will be. I will remain a bear on the dollar as long as it is under 98.91. So next week or the week after that, if it pulls all the way back up into there, I would still be bearish that high. But above that, nope. Nope. The macro still supports a bullish dollar. So this new thing that they gave us yesterday threw a wrench in the dollar trade. So we hit on everything else. Literally everything else that we're looking at, we hit out of the park. Home run trades. Made thousands of dollars yesterday. It was a phenomenal day. But the dollar failed. Every one of my dollar long trades got stopped out. Every one of them. Now, all of them had already been paid out. We were just sitting in unrealized gains anyways. But still, we no longer have any dollar long positions. The dollar got blowed out yesterday. So now we got to see, does the people that are investing in the dollar, do they believe that this is going to be the right direction moving forward? Or is the central banks going to stay at the current rates? If they are, it makes more sense to still be long the dollar. Or be very picky on where you're short the dollar. All right. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up there. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.